You're listening to Affected by Altitude, a Colorado Rockies podcast for and by Rockies fans on Rocky Mountain Rooftop. Thank you for joining us as we discuss all things baseball and Colorado Rockies. Live from their respective recording setups, it's Evan Lang and Skyler Timmons with the Rocky Mountain Rooftop Awards for 2024.
Thank you. Welcome here to the 2024 Rocky Mountain Rooftop Awards. I'm your host, Skyler Timmons, along with co-host Evan Lang for our annual awards show. I think this is our third one we've done overall.
Something like that.
Fun times. We would do crowd work, but there's no crowd.
And we don't like to work.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, I see somebody. There's Mark Wahlberg in the front row.
Hey, how about you save it for one of the later awards, huh? Say hello to your mother for me.
Okay, and there's Robo Dick Monfort.
Eat at McDonfort's.
Oh, there's Chris Bryant's stolen Lamborghini.
It's too fast. I can't catch it.
Ooh. But yeah, this is our dumb little award show.
And it's getting dumber by the minute.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we come together. We've got all your typical award shows. It's award season. They've already announced all the MLB awards. Hey, that's great. But now it's the truly Rockies specific, Rockies focused awards show. And hey, Evan, all of our winners are getting this prized rooftop award. This wonderful golden statue of a guy swinging. He has no bat.
It's an invisible bat.
He swung so hard it flew out of his hands. It truly is reminiscent of the Rockies because he probably striking out, and so he flung his bat to the netting. So
we did see a couple bat flings this year.
True. Charlie Blackmon's final at bat in person that I saw. Not his final at bat overall. But yeah, that's what our recipients, they can expect this in the mail in 70 years.
Disclaimer, we will not actually be sending out awards trophies. We cannot afford it.
Nope. I found this at a Goodwill in Oregon back in 2015. So yeah. But hey, this is better than what we were handing out last year, Evan. It was what was within a hand's reach. But we got a lot of fun ones, a lot of your typical awards, and we got a lot of our dumber awards that we can hand out. But the way this works, for those with a refresher, Evan and I will just kind of rapid fire, name some nominees, and then just kind of come to a general consensus on picking out guys. Sometimes you'll just have to die on a hill. Sometimes you'll have to concede. But overall, most everybody that gets nominated, probably worthy of the award. So without
no matter where we end up, we're right.
Mm-hmm. And so, in my suit and tie, wearing a purple tie, let's get into it. Evan, where should we start off here?
I mean, we could start off with the big one, or we could start off with some of the lower ones and work our way up. We have a little list here of our main awards, and we could start at the bottom of that list and work our way to the top, or we could start at the top and work our way to the bottom.
Let's see here. You know what? Let's start with a fun one. This is relevant for the year. Best New Friend. So this award is basically your favorite new Rocky in 2024. This guy that could be a rookie that debuted, could just be a new face that joined the team in 2024 and became your best new friend. And so, Evan, as I pull up my roster real quick,
the nominees for Best New Friend Award are...
All right, we'll just go rapid fire, back and forth.
Jacob Stallings.
Jake Cave.
Luis Peralta.
Jordan Beck.
Seth Halverson.
Aaron Shunk.
Adele Amador.
I'm trying to think. Well, he debuted last year, so he doesn't count. Oh, Cal Quantrill.
Greg Jones.
I'm trying to think of anybody else that I feel like is a good nominee. Jason Shreve.
Dakota Hudson.
Seth Halverson. Did you already say that?
I did, but you
No,
could say
yeah.
Jalen Beeks.
We can. He deserves a nomination. So yeah, Jalen Beeks.
And Jeff Criswell.
There we go. So let's narrow this down really quick, Evan. There's quite a few of these guys, especially some of those. What's your criteria? Who are you leaning towards?
I would lean towards Jacob Stallings, the only non-rookie actually returning in 2025.
Hey, these awards aren't contingent on 2025 here, Evan.
But Stallings made a big impression to me. He's always been considered throughout his career very good at working with pitchers, especially young pitchers. But even the veteran pitching staff of the Rockies credited him immensely for his work behind the plate. A solid defensive catcher, had one of the best offensive seasons of his career, and is just a stand-up, pretty nice guy. I've never really heard anyone say a single bad thing about Jacob Stallings.
Yeah, Stallings is a really, really good one. I'm also just thinking of looking at this list of guys across the board, and not a lot stand out. But no, one that does that kind of sticks out to me. One is just Jordan Beck, just in general, just being a weirdo, in the sense of the Mike Honcho persona, and you could tell when he was in the dugout, kind of a weirdo. You remember that time when he just kept running time after time at first base and it kept getting fouled off? He stole like 7 times. And then he finally does when he hits the ball, and then he comes around all the way to score and just collapses on the bench. But
Yes.
no, I would actually be more inclined to give to Jacob Stallings. Best new friend, guy that came in, made an impact, and has really anybody, have you heard anybody like really complain that Stallings is here? Like, not really. People hate Jake Cave, but Jacob Stallings is okay.
I have seen one or two of the more curmudgeonly Rockies fans that I am aware of complain about it, but overall the consensus has been no problems with him being here.
Yeah, and the fact that he's your friend, he's coming back. So, hey, that fits even better, even though I said that doesn't matter into these awards. But hey, Jacob Stallings, congratulations, unanimous. He takes his award behind the dish. Congratulations. Good work. He is our new friend. And we get him for another year, so good for him. Yeah, that's one down. Moving along here. Let's go with here we go. Bench player of the year. This kind of fits the same theme. The bench player of the year. And the players that necessarily aren't your primary guys, that didn't play a lot, but were just supposed to come in off the bench, played mostly coming in off the bench, pinch hitters, just midweek substitutions, all that kind of stuff. So, Evan, who are we going with first?
Sam Hilliard.
Aaron Shunk.
I guess Hunter Goodman would qualify.
Yeah. It's tough when it's Stallings and Diaz because they're equal amount of time.
They essentially went half and half. So I would say to disqualify the catching tandem on that.
Yeah. If there was like one of them was at like 90 something, the other's like 70 maybe, but yeah, I think they're disqualified for this. Who else would I say is up? Looking at this bench is terrible.
You could technically say Jake Cave.
I would technically.
Jake Cave appeared in 123 games and had 83 starts.
You know what? Yeah, we'll say Jake Cave. So we got Hilliard, Jake Cave, Aaron Shunk. I think it's you next. Any others?
Alan Trejo.
I throw him in there, yeah, and I think Sean Bouchard. He and Sean Bouchard kind of fit that mold as well. That's
Now
about
I'd
it.
say Chris Bryant, but this is for best bench player, not best player who's only on the bench. Well, hey,
Hey-oh! Oh, Jack Nicholson liked that one in the front row. Hey, man, yeah. All right, this isn't a Timberwolves game.
does Jack Nicholson show up at Timberwolves games a lot?
I think he used to. Or maybe it's the Lakers games. Who knows? He's Jack Nicholson. He doesn't act anymore. But yeah, I don't think there's really much else to say of these guys. So I'm just going to come out and say Sam Hilliard, probably. At least when I think of a guy specifically on the bench. Now, bench player of the year, I'd lean more towards Jake Cave because he was supposed to be on the bench and then he just ascended.
But what's funny about Sam Hilliard is that he appeared in 58 games and started in 42 of them. So that's only 16 less starts than appearances.
Mm-hmm.
The bench guys rarely stayed on the bench with this team, and that was largely due to a lot of injuries in the outfield. But I think I would be inclined to agree with Sam Hilliard, who did fill more of a bench role and actual backup outfielder versus by the end of the season, you could say Jake Cave was largely the starting right fielder for this team.
Yeah, like that's where I'm at. Jake Cave started as the bench guy, but then became the starter. And then Sam Hilliard, like you mentioned, 58 games. If he's playing, it's going to be a start, but he's starting maybe like a couple times a week.
And overall had a very solid season after coming back to the Rockies. Ended up being worth 0.5 wins above replacement, had 10 home runs, 27 ribbies, even stole a handful of bases, and had a slugging percentage of .507.
I'm trying to find here. Yeah, as a sub, so just a substitute, 16 games. He had 8 plate appearances, 6 at-bats, 2 home runs. Those were his 2 hits. So he had a 333 average, 1.33 slugging. I think that works. As a starter, did pretty good, but when he's coming in as a sub.
And a lot of that was, we really did see, when Sam Hilliard returned to the team this year, he was like, I'd love to compete for the starting position, and I think I can still do that. And then by the end of the season, we had really seen him embrace sort of that veteran bench bat fourth outfielder role.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unanimous. We're giving it Sam Hilliard winning the Bench Player of the Year award. Let's hear it for old Sam Hilliard. Congratulations. Nice, beautiful swing from the right side with this trophy. He's coming from the left, so we'll just flip it that way.
We'll do it in post.
Do it in post. Yeah, pretty easy one. Moving right along here. We've got Bench Player of the Year with Sam Hilliard. Let's do some of these biggies here, Evan. The Team Silver Slugger Award. Obviously given to the best hitter overall. The best hitter.
See, when I think about Silver Slugger, though, I largely think about slugging more than anything else. I remember the last year that the National League did a Silver Slugger for pitchers, and Herman Marquez was one of the finalists. I was mad he did not win because he was the only one of the finalists who actually slugged, the only one with a home run, and had the highest slugging percentage of the bunch.
See, for me, I always think of it as kind of a best, just a good, well-rounded hitter. Where home runs do definitely play a big part of it. Maybe the rest not so much. But yeah, best offensive players, more or less. And I think home runs really play a big part of that. Because that's why Kyle Schwarber can hit like 215 and kind of be a Silver Slugger contender.
All right, well, let's go with the nominees. I will start with Michael Toglia.
Ezekiel Tovar.
Brenton Doyle.
You know what? Hunter Goodman.
Charlie Blackmon.
Mm-hmm. Ryan McMahon. That's about it. Brendan Rodgers, I think, too. We can throw him on there.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Basically, anybody that had 10 or more home runs, almost. Well, Evan, what are you thinking here?
See, it's honestly quite a tough one because each one of these players excelled in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Michael Tolley is your true slugger. It's home run or bust for this guy. Ezekiel Tovar is a bit more well-rounded, but he had a pretty bad on-base percentage, the worst of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Blackmon is the overall most balanced of the group, but as a 38-year-old who just retired, had a down year as far as things go. Brenton Doyle also fairly well-rounded, very much in a similar vein of Charlie Blackmon, and Brendan Rodgers, I think you could say that as well, though I don't think he is as well-rounded as the Doyle and Blackmon route.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, I'm leaning more towards Tovar as my ultimate silver slugger, just because the 269 average, yeah, the on base, that's a big problem for him in the 200 strikeouts, but led the team in home runs, and Evan 45 doubles, and leading the league in like extra base hits. They're at the top. A 469 slugging. You talk about slugging. That's the best on the team of the regulars that were getting regular playing time.
If he knew how to draw a walk, even a little bit,
yeah,
he would be probably one of the most feared hitters in the league.
That 78 ribbies that he had gets closer to 90 or even 100. Like he has 100 capable in him if the rest of the team could do it.
95 weighted runs created plus per Fangraphs and 103 OPS plus.
Mm-hmm. So my vote's for Tovar.
I can be persuaded into Tovar.
When we're, like you said, your parameters of actual slugging,
he does meet
slugging and had the extra base hits, a decent average. It could have been much worse.
And honestly, it's the doubles that really impress me. The home runs are great. I really don't feel, and we talked about this a little bit last year, I don't think we have seen as prodigious a young doubles hitter since the early days of Todd Helton, who excelled at doubling.
Yeah. So I think we're in agreement then. Your team Silver Slugger for 2024, it's Ezekiel Tovar. Congratulations.
A consensus has been reached.
Yes, look at that award. Almost looks like Tovar.
Does it?
Sure.
If you squint really hard and punch yourself
really
in the face, it looks like Ezekiel Tovar.
And ignore this looks like a guy with a really big curly hair of some generic white dude in the 70s. Those big old sideburns.
The eyes also look really weird.
They are cold, dead eyes. But congratulations, Tovar. Exciting stuff for him still, if he can figure it out in some other aspects. So Team Silver Slugger, we've got Ezekiel Tovar, which moves us in to our next one. Speaking of gold, a gold statue, let's move towards a gold sort of appendage that you use on the field. It's the Team Gold Glove Award.
Team Gold Foot.
Mm-hmm. So, Evan, who we got here for our Team Gold Glove Award?
Do we really need to list the nominees for this one? Because I'm pretty sure we know who it's going to go to.
Real quick, though.
Ezekiel Tovar.
Michael Tolia. I'm going to add him on there.
Brenton Doyle.
Ryan McMahon.
That's about it, honestly.
I will say Jacob Stallings as well. We'll cover all our bases of positions. But I don't know if we really have to go much into this one. Say it with me now, Evan. Our winner is likely 3, 2, 1.
Brenton Doyle.
Brendan Doyle.
Once again, having an incredible defensive season. Not quite there numbers wise as he was last year, where he led the league in basically every defensive category, but still one of the league leaders in most defensive categories. And it felt like just every single game, Doyle was doing something incredible in the outfield. He truly is. He's been here for 2 seasons, and I am so comfortable saying that he is the single best defensive center fielder the Rockies have ever had in their entire team history.
Yeah.
He is incredible.
Yeah, and it says a lot where some numbers go down because teams knew what to expect of him.
Like,
and so, like,
for example, they learned, do not run on this man. He
Mhm.
will get you out.
So that's why like assists go down, and generally he just gets to so many more balls than any other center fielder. Took home the Fielding Bible Award, took home his second consecutive Gold Glove Award. It's pretty tough then considering where he plays, the position, and a lot doing it with injury this past season. Nagging injuries and stuff in his knees and whatnot. Still out there every day. Not going to change who he is as a defender. It's fun to watch.
Talking about running into the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brenton Doyle is incredible to watch in center field. Absolute joy.
And a round of applause for him. Congratulations, Doyle. Here's another gold thing to add to your mantle. Arguably more valuable.
It's one of a kind.
Ones of people are saying more valuable than an actual Gold Glove Award.
You know, there's so many the Gold Glove Award's been around for like 60 something years, but there are lots of Gold Glove trophies out there. But how many weird, cold, dead-eyed Goodwill statues missing bats are there?
Look at that. Look at that in the camera. The cold, dead eyes.
That's pretty bad.
It's awful. It's the stuff of nightmares. Don't look at it too closely. It'll steal your soul. But congratulations, Doyle. And other guys, incredible defender. We're spoiled with the Rockies.
Yeah. We take for granted how solid defensively this team is, especially in the infield.
Like, totally has got one in his future if he can stick around. And hey, at least McMahon's getting recognized. Oh yeah, and Tovar won a Gold Glove this year. I keep forgetting that. He actually won it. But yeah, good on him. Here's the next one that I like. This is another one, a dumb one. The Adios Muchacho Award. We brought this one up last year. It's the award for the Rocky, our favorite Rocky we saw leave the team, good or bad. So this is a player we were, it could be like last year for Evan, it was bye-bye Jerks and Profar. You're my favorite Rocky I'm seeing leave. I think, or it could have been like a good player that you see leave and you're like, he's my favorite. I'm just sad to see him leave, but good luck.
I think that one's going to be the likely version for this year, just considering who one of the nominees will be.
And yeah, that'll work. So the nominees are
Charlie Blackmon,
Aluris Montero,
Jalen Beeks,
Elias Diaz,
Nick Mears.
Ooh, that's a good one too. Alan Trejo.
I think that's about everybody, isn't it?
There's a bunch of random pitchers, but
in terms of people with actual presence.
Oh, wait. Dakota Hudson.
Ty Block.
And then there's a bunch of pitchers. We've got
Chasen Shreve.
Yeah, Chasen Shreve, legend. Jeff Hartley, Matt Caracity, John Curtis, Matt Cook, Josh Rogers. They all kind of fit that, but yeah, I think that about covers everybody that left.
And I think this is another one where it's going to be a pretty easy call.
And I think I should also Mind you, this one does not have to be a unanimous one, so it can be individualized.
But I think it's going to be unanimous. I mean, we'll see. So I guess I'll just go right ahead. My Adios Muchacho Award, sad to see him go. Delighted to have had him here for 14 incredible seasons. Charlie Blackmon.
Yes. Very well. Just for the sake of variety, I'm also saying that, but we're breaking our own rules and we're going to do a third one where I'm going to say Dakota Hudson. I don't think any of us were sad to see him leave, and we were so happy when he was. Unfortunately, he left because he got put on the injured list finally. But initially, the first time around, it was cutting this guy because he had a rough year.
And that last game before he was designated for assignment, it was very clear that he was on an incredibly short leash, and then he just went out there and didn't have it. And honestly, I would say the big Dacky Hudso experiment was doomed from the start. He was exactly the wrong kind of pitcher to bring into this sort of environment.
At this point in his career. Earlier in his career, he could have done it, but at this point, I don't think any of us were losing much sleep over the Rockies not having Dakota Hudson anymore. He seemed like a good dude. I think we were optimistic when they signed him. Like, it could work out. It did not work out. Charlie Blackmon, though, seriously, he gets the award from us both. Congratulations to old Chuck Nasty, the Adios Muchacho. We will miss you, Mr. Chuck Nasty. Good dude. That was an easy one. Breakout Player of the Year. So this one also kind of encompasses sort of a, I guess a most improved player type of thing as well. So it's breakout / most improved player is what it encompasses.
This one's pretty tough, actually, because I do think we have a lot of guys who we could say, made their debut in breakout, but then you can also comfortably nominate Brenton Doyle, whose improvement from year 1 to year 2 was astonishing.
Mm-hmm. So we got him, Michael Tolia,
Luis Peralta,
Victor Vodnik,
Seth Halverson.
Ooh, that was the one I was going to say. Heck, I'm going to say it. Sam Hilliard.
I will say Brenton Doyle.
Ryan Feltner
was who I was going to say next. Honestly, he established himself very well this year.
Angel Chivi.
Jeff Criswell.
Mm-hmm. I think that's about all I have.
I'll give some honorable mentions to Aaron Schunk and Jordan Beck, who I am hoping we are going to see truly break out next year. But they both made their debuts this year and had some really fun moments.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna show my cards here. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm torn between two guys here, but I kind of want to lean towards Michael Tolia.
I can definitely see that, but let me just put mine out there before we do that.
Yeah.
Luis Peralta made his major league debut and pitched 13 straight games without giving up an earned run, and ended the season having only given up 1 earned run in 15 appearances. As a rookie reliever in a multitude of difficult pitching environments, that's pretty darn impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's good stuff. I thought you were going to say Brenton Doyle.
See, I would be more inclined to say Doyle if he already wasn't really pretty darn good last year. He just sort of finished putting things together this year.
Yeah, I'm just more inclined to put Michael Tolia because he did kind of break out with taking over first base every single day. Set like a big old record consecutive starts, was playing every day, made huge strides in drawing walks, hitting from both sides of the plate. When he came back in June, had 25 home runs, second on the team in 116 games, hit 218, which for Michael Toglia and his batting profile, that's not too bad. 147 strikeouts, yeah, but that fits into his profile as the three true outcomes kind of guy. Had a 311 on base. He showed the most improvement, even mid-season, but really seemed to break out this year.
And here is why I will agree with you to come to that consensus. Michael Tolia's first 15 games from end of March to the end of April, he hit 106, 143, 362. He had 4 home runs and only 5 total hits. Only drew 1 walk and struck out 20 times. He was, in my opinion, rightfully optioned down to AAA Albuquerque. When he was resummoned at the beginning of June, he was essentially the starting first baseman from then on out. And he really did make a case for it of why he should be. He blasted up. He had one of the better walk rates in the league during that time for the entire rest of the season. And in 101 games, he had an OPS of 800 with 21 home runs, 3 triples, 14 doubles, and drew 53 walks to 127 strikeouts. So still striking out a lot, but drawing a lot more walks as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and defensively, we finally got to see what he could do at first base. Gold glove level defense.
Something clicked when he came back, which was, you will not send me down again.
Yeah. And now he's supplanted Chris Bryant at first base. And he made his team better, and it was really a good breakout year that you needed from a top draft pick finally. He's never going to be the big high average, but if he can produce in a way similar to what he did this year, maybe find a way to improve a little more at the plate with his on base and strikeouts and everything, you've got a good solid player.
And I think it's worth noting that he finished in the top 4 for wins above replacement for this team.
Yeah. Good stuff. So I think we're in agreement there then with old Michael Toglia as your breakout player of the year.
I think we are in agreement.
Hooray! There's Michael Toglia. This actually does kind of look like him build-wise. That big, long swing.
Big Mongoose.
Old Big Mongoose Award.
Something I want for next year. Please come up with something to call him on the broadcast other than Big Mike.
Mig Bike.
Sure. Just every time. And here's Big Mike with the catch. And Big Mike came up with that catch. And now he's walking towards the base. And now Big Mike is throwing the ball to the other player. And Big Mike is heading into the dugout. And Big Mike will be up to bat next. And Big Mike takes a swing.
There's Big Mike eating the Jersey Mikes.
It was too much. It was too much.
The Please Be Quiet Corey Sullivan Award.
and we say that as I love Sully, but sometimes Sully.
The Stop Making Movie References That Drew Goodman is Never Going to Get Award.
Hey, you can say that to Spilly too.
Spilly only does it because of Corey Sullivan. Anyways, that's getting off the point. Moving along here. Here's one that's kind of in line with it. Calling it the Daniel Bard Comeback Player of the Year. So this kind of fits in that same line, but it's a player that previously I can pass has really struggled, whether it be an injury or something else, and really came back to prominence in the season. And so first and foremost for me, I'm going with old Jacob Stallings.
I would like to nominate Antonio Senzatela.
Mm-hmm. Who was I can say? Oh, Sam Hilliard.
It's kind of tough to think who else. Tyler Kinley.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Tyler Kinley is a good one. Really, in a way, I would say uh, torn on this, but I almost want to say Ryan Feltner. Almost, but he's a little bit lower on my list.
I think you can reasonably nominate Ryan Feltner for that.
Yeah. Uh, Also, I would say, what's his name? Austin Gomber.
I think that's a solid list of nominees. I'm going to tell you that my top two, honestly, on the list are, and it's kind of tough, but I really want to say that my top two were Tyler Kinley and Antonio Senzatela. TK, who, has had really struggled to bounce back from that surgery at the beginning of the season, especially in that first half. There's no beating around the bush that he was terrible at the beginning of the season. He struggled immensely. But then in the second half of the season, he looked a lot more like the player, like the pitcher we remembered him as. And, it's broken up by a couple pretty messy outings in between. But you look at his lines, his game logs, and it's a whole bunch of zeros. And then a messy outing comes, and then it's a whole bunch of zeros again.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Antonio Senzatela, who was supposed to come back last year from his ACL surgery, made it through one whole start and a couple innings, and then immediately needed Tommy John and came back this season. Originally, it was pretty uncertain if he would even pitch this season. The Rockies were pretty non-committal at it at the beginning of the season, saying, maybe they would see some minor league rehab starts from him at the end of the season. And instead, we got multiple starts at the very end of the season from Sensi. And it was just very nice to have him back, even if it was only for 3 starts and 12 and a third innings.
My argument against Senzatela is there was really no comeback in the sense that this isn't a perseverance award, and he didn't do good in his 3 starts. So when I think of comeback award, I think, like you were saying with like Tyler Kinley, really ended up finding that. I'm more inclined towards Stallings just because his offense had just drastically been so bad the last couple of years, but then he found something with the Rockies, rebounded with that work, and then turned in a very, very good season on both sides of the ball, earned himself a new contract, but he played very well on the year. And so when I think of comeback players, it's the nice rebound season like Jacob Stallings had.
Yeah, there is definitely something that clicked with Stallings. I think we've discussed it before, wasn't it? That something he really worked with when he was here was his vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say really quick, Senzatela did have one good start. His second start of the season, in which he went five innings and only gave up 1 earned run. That's a pretty solid start. But I do understand where you're coming from on that.
Yeah, that's like when I think of a comeback player, it's like a guy that was here the whole year and had success throughout the whole year type of thing. That's what I think of. Yeah, we're at an impasse. What are you thinking, Evan? Seems like it's down to Stallings and Kinley.
It's a really tough one, honestly, because I 100% see your argument for Stallings.
Mm-hmm.
And for Kinley, I think the thing that majorly stands in his way is that he had this incredible stretch really in the second half. But even then, he would still have a game where he gave up like 4 earned runs.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the month of August, he went, he went 11 outings and gave up only 1 earned run, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk. But then his outing after that, he gave up 4 earned runs on 3 hits.
Mm-hmm.
But then right back to that, he went another like 6 or 7 outings without giving up an earned run. And then his final outing of the year, he gave up 3 earned runs. So it's kind of tough. But then you look at his first month of the season, really was pretty unsightly.
Yeah.
To the point where he ended April with a 13.06 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
And he somehow, at the very end of the season, had it all the way down to 6.19.
Yeah.
Which is still not good, but looking at where it came from, and if you take the sample size from July through the end of the season, which I'm trying to pull up now, and Baseball Reference is fighting me on it.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. His last 32 appearances of the season, he pitched 31 and 1/3 innings, 39 strikeouts, 13 walks, had an ERA of 4.02, but a FIP of 3.26, suggesting that he was pitching better than the results he was getting.
Mm-hmm. He ran the gamut of a comeback within the middle of the season. Awful,
like
and then he flipped the switch.
His July and August were both really, really good. Like if you look at them individually, so in July he made 13 appearances, 13 and 1/3 innings, 16 strikeouts, ERA of 4.05, had one really bad outing and the rest were pretty solid. And then in August, you see very much of the same thing, 13 outings, 12 and 2/3 innings, ERA of 3.55, 16 strikeouts, had one really bad outing, but the rest were quite excellent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, I will let you make the ultimate decision, and I will live with it.
I would like to say Tyler Kinley, honestly, and here is why, is that Jacob Stallings was really good offensively this year, but that is much more of an aberration in his career, where he's never really been never really been an incredible hitter or even a particularly good hitter for the majority of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And his OPS of 810 this year is the first time he's gotten above barely over 7 since 2017, where he only appeared in 5 games.
Yeah. Yeah, man, he struggled in those 2 years in Miami, though.
I don't know what they did to him.
He was pretty average across. He got back to like career numbers this year.
I would call him serviceable in Pittsburgh, and then I don't know what happened in Miami, and then he came back and had an excellent year. So normally, I could definitely I see where you're coming at with Stallings, but I think with how we watched Kinley persevere and really right the ship this year is why I want to give it to him.
There we go. That's okay. I'll live with it.
Mr. President.
Congratulations, Tyler Kinley. You win that comeback player of the year. I don't have a pitching award, so you just get the little baseball swing as well.
This is a really weird pitching motion.
Yeah.
Two-handed.
It's when you sling the ball. It's just missing a lacrosse ball. But nice. Tyler Kinley taking it. We need to let's run through a couple of quick ones here if we can. Let's see. No, wait, we'll move up here. Let's get into some of our bigger ones. Do you want to just knock out these big ones?
Sure.
And then we can get back. We can finish out with fun ones. Let's do it. Okay, so here's our main block of some of the more major awards. This first one, we'll do the Brian Fuentes Reliever of the Year Award. Awarded to who we believe is the best reliever of the year.
With this one, I would nominate Seth Halverson, Luis Peralta, Angel Chivi, Victor Vodnik.
Jalen Beeks.
Jeff Criswell.
We can add Tyler Kinley in there.
We can indeed.
That's about it.
That's probably where I'd leave it, honestly.
Jake Bird.
He had a bizarre season.
Yeah, it's so bizarre, but still, when he wasn't terrible. I'd almost add Anthony Molina in there as well, but his season was just so weird in his situation.
Yeah. Anthony Molina was only here because they could not option him.
Yeah.
My front runner for this is going to be Luis Peralta, just because he was truly incredible as a rookie reliever this year.
I'm more inclined to give it to a Victor Vodnik.
I can 100% see Victor Vodnik very solid for the majority of the season. Hit some real hiccups at the end of the year, but honestly, a lot of that I think is overwork.
Yeah, and it's hard because I personally have a harder time giving it to some guys with a smaller sample size. Like 12 and a third innings of Luis Peralta just isn't enough for me to, even though they were really, really good, isn't enough for me to say, yeah, you deserve this season-long award.
Versus Victor Vodnik had 64 appearances over 73 and 2/3 innings.
Yeah, 9 saves, led the team in saves. Oh no, he had the second most behind Tyler Kinley.
Despite his struggles, still came away with a 4.28 ERA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Victor Vodnik.
Just awarding the guy because he was here all year. And like you said, yeah, it was overworked. He was overworked because he was so good.
Mr. Victor Vodnik.
Victor. That was an easy one. Nice and easy. He's our Brian Fuentes Reliever of the Year award.
Yeah.
Luis Peralta can definitely be a contender for one in the future. Those are Vodnik. Next one, the Jason Jennings Rookie of the Year award. There's a lot of nominees this year because there were so many dang rookies, but really only a few that can really be worth consideration.
And one of those would be Victor Vodnik.
Got Victor Vodnik, Angel Chivilli.
You can put Luis Peralta and Seth Halverson on the list, though, again, small sample sizes, as well as Jeff Criswell.
Yeah. Position player-wise, Hunter Goodman and Jordan Beck. And
Hunter Goodman is actually no longer a rookie.
When did he exceed rookie status? Didn't he? He still had it through 2024, didn't he?
Oh, he did. You're right. I'm thinking of he fell off the prospect list finally. He graduated from the prospect list.
Rookie status was still intact through 2024. Not anymore, but so he was a rookie this past season.
Jordan Beck also. It's tough because a lot of the rookies didn't really spend a ton of time with the team this year.
Especially the offensive players. This is more of another reliever award, so to speak, which is totally fine. That's where more of the rookies are now because the Rockies are so clogged up and don't let their rookies play offensively because Bud Black doesn't know what to do with them.
Welcome to the team, Kyle Farmer.
Yep. So, yeah.
In terms of raw success over sample size,
yeah,
I feel like it'd be Victor Vodnik again.
That's where I would lean, or like Angel Chivilli. But yeah, it'd be leaning more towards Victor Vodnik again.
Let's say, honestly, yeah, I would say Victor Vodnik.
All the rookie relievers.
I mean, we could just say, yeah, the rookie of the year is the 2024 reliever class for the Rockies, but
specifically the one in September.
But really leading up that effort is Mr. Victor Vodnik.
Yeah, I think of the rookies that really made a name for themselves and made an impact this past season, it's him. Because your offensive players just didn't contribute or play enough.
Yeah, and when it comes to the other relievers, Chivilli is so Vodnik had 64 appearances. That's a full 34 more than Chivilli, who has a full 15 more than the next man up, which is Peralta. So I would say Vodnik.
Yeah. What do you know? Another rookie winning
the Rookie of the Year award?
Another reliever winning the Rookie of the Year award.
I was going to say, well, what do you know? A rookie wins Rookie of the Year.
So based. Jake Cave should have won it. Yeah, congratulations again. Victor Vodnik, back-to-back awards here. 2 big ones. There you go. Congratulations, Victor Vodnik.
Victor.
This one, I feel like, is also going to be. We'll probably figure out this one pretty quick. I don't even know if we need to run through nominees, but we will a little quickly. The Ubaldo Jimenez Award for pitching excellence, basically the Team Cy Young.
I would give it to either Austin Gomber or Ryan Feltner. And I would say Feltner is my front runner.
I will also say Kyle Freeland. And that really is about it.
If we're looking at starting pitchers only, that's really about it. And how often do relievers win the Cy Young Award?
Very rarely, but Victor Vonnick, you can enter into that conversation as well. Yeah, for me, I would honestly say Ryan Feltner.
I would also say Ryan Feltner.
Just this year, when we talk about pitching excellence, it was him. 138 strikeouts. Really, when he locked it in, partway through into the season, he really turned it up a notch.
No, 100%. ERA plus of 102, total ERA for the season of 4.49 in 30 starts, one of just 2 Rockies pitchers to make 30 starts in 162 and 1/3 innings, only faced a handful more batters than Gomber and just a handful fewer innings. Also gave up, of the bulk starting pitchers on the team, your top 4, your Gomber, Feltner, Quantrill, Freeland, gave up the fewest home runs.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it seemed like every start he was issuing very few walks, especially in the second half. It was like his last 15 starts or something. An awful first half for Feltner. And it kind of flip-flopped where Gomber had a good first half, not so good second half.
And Gomber was fine in the second half, but Feltner really locked it down, because we saw Feltner really, it felt like it lose his mojo for a hot minute after that Miami Marlins start, where he almost had a complete game shutout, and then it just completely fell apart.
Yeah.
But he put it back together again, and after he came off of the injured list, was without a doubt, I think, the Rockies' best starting pitcher.
Yeah, I think overall, because like Gomber was pretty even in both halves. Not great, not terrible, pretty mid. Almost a 5 ERA in the second half. But Feltner in his last, in the second half, his next 15 starts or so, just locked it down. Sub 3 ERA type thing. He really locked it in. He had all the tools. It was just finding that consistency. And then we finally did. Almost unhittable.
From July 2nd through the end of the season, in 14 starts, so basically his second half, he had an ERA of 2.97 with 63 strikeouts.
Yeah. So I think it's him.
I would agree.
Far. A good solid year from Gomber. A good second half for Kyle Freeland when he came back from injury. But Ryan Feltner was there all year, worked through stuff, and then locked it down. And now made it so that Cal Quantrill was expendable in the offseason.
Felt he had that dog in him.
Mm-hmm. Good for him. And he can paint. So Ryan Feltner, he is our Team Cy Young winner. Congratulations to him. Oh, Ubaldo Jimenez Award for pitching excellence. So convoluted, but congratulations to him. Nice award. He's striking out this guy. So it's that award is to signify he struck this man out. But there's the Cy Young. Now here's the big one. The Larry Walker MVR, the most valuable Rocky. It's the MVP award. And the nominees are
Brenton Doyle,
Ezekiel Tovar,
Ryan McMahon,
Ryan Feltner,
Michael Tolia.
Ooh. That's about it.
Victor Vodnik.
Victor Vodnik. He's just going to get nominated everywhere.
I feel like this is a pretty easy one, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Leading the team in 4 wins above replacement, one of the best overall hitters, the without a doubt best overall defender, taking home a Gold Glove in the process. One of the team leaders in stolen bases, one of the team leaders in home runs. It's Brenton Doyle.
Yeah, no doubt. That's unanimous. He's getting 30 of 30 votes from us.
Now, we will give a shout out to Ezekiel Tovar, who actually did receive 2 down ballot MVP votes in the actual award voting this year, which is very cool.
Yeah, it's wild that it is him
and not
that
Doyle.
got it, and Doyle didn't maybe like snag one. I guess I'm gonna assume those are Rockies voters that did that. The guys that covered the Rockies.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's like a Patrick, like a Thomas Harding and Patrick Saunders type thing or whatever. But yeah, no, Doyle all the way. Just overall body of work. The guy ended up hitting in the 3 spot for most of through a lot of the season. Hard to argue with those results across the board. The makings of a true MVP who can get it done on both sides of the ball. I think that's what's really nice.
Yeah, and just like we mentioned earlier, the amount that he improved from year 1 to year 2 in terms of cutting down strikeouts, making better contact with the ball, and just hitting the ball with authority.
Yeah. Played in 149 games, had 46 walks, 153 strikeouts. That is double the amount of walks of Ezekiel Tovar and 50 less strikeouts than Tovar in about the same body work.
4 triples, 23 doubles, 72 ribbies, 30 stolen bases.
There you go.
It was a good season.
Yeah, he has a 30-30 in him. Like he absolutely does. It's just baby steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2020 this year, he's got a 30-30 in him for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Or at some point in his career.
But there we go. The MVP award, most valuable Rocky for the MVR. It goes to Brenton Doyle, the center fielder. There we go. We modeled his likeness for this crisp gold statue that I got for $4 at a Goodwill.
If I ever get a 3D printer, I'll 3D print out an award.
There you go. Yeah, that's the MVR award, most valuable Rocky. Congratulations, Brenton Doyle. Well, hey, Evan, that takes care of a lot of the big ones. But
those are the serious awards.
Yes. That Adios Muchacho award is going to really, really make some waves with how serious it is. But let's move on to some fun ones. These can be hyper specific, folks. So these are more jokey ones or just dumb things. But here's one that I wanted to start off with, Evan, that I forgot to write down, but I mentioned it to you. It's the Most Unfortunate Record Award. It was a historically bad season for the Rockies in many aspects. What would you deem as the worst, most unfortunate?
I've got to pull up the list, honestly, because there were a lot this year.
I did write an article over at purpleroad.com covering this, titled "The Rockies Made Plenty of Dubious History in 2024."
Excellent use of the word dubious.
Dubious. The Dubious Brothers. But there was a lot, and we were covering and highlighting stuff all season to make sure we kept an eye on everything that was happening with this team. And boy, howdy, was there some junk.
I would say up there has got to be, as you called it, the opening day fiasco, with one of the worst opening days in history for the franchise, which set an unfortunate tone for the year right out of the gate.
Yeah. To one up on that, it was that first month of the season where they trailed in 31 consecutive games, surpassing the previous record of 28 consecutive games set by the 1910 St. Louis Browns.
That was a rough one.
So it was, we never could hold a lead until like the middle of May.
And that was because we were a historically bad team in the 9th inning.
Mm-hmm.
They finished the season with a 7.10 ERA in the ninth inning.
Mm-hmm.
And by August 27th, the Rockies had a 7.44 ERA in the ninth, the highest among MLB teams in the last 50 years, excluding the COVID-shortened 2020 season. And I feel like you can't give it to that, because if you give it to that, what you're really giving it to is the fact that they trailed at some point in the game in 31 straight games.
Yeah. I feel like that's the one that I'm more inclined to give it to, because it just encompasses so much of what was wrong with this team this year, of not being able to hit, not being able to pitch,
Not being
unable
able
to
to
hold
hold a
leads.
lead.
That feeling of we're down by 1 run, it's
It's
over.
over.
We're done. Like, we're cooked. This is it. But yeah, I feel like that one, that would have to be it for me.
Yes,
That's
I
the most
agree.
dubious, is the modern era record for consecutive games in which we trailed.
I agree.
It's not that we like lost, it's that we lost a lead in any of those games. We won some of them.
Yeah.
But
You
it's
didn't.
giving up lead.
No. You didn't win. We lost.
Yeah. Like, they gave up the lead. It's always when you start getting into the conversation of teams before World War I and you're setting records, it's not good. Or it's like,
When the players are named stuff like Shimmy Legs O'Gilligan.
yeah. Or here's the one that we'll throw in just to add to it, just salting that open wound.
Onto the misery pile.
Yeah, where is it? It was that game against the where are you at? There it is. So against the Miami Marlins, it was during that 3-game sweep in early May. The Miami Marlins had a record of 6-24 prior to their 3-game sweep of the Rockies. We weren't doing too hot either. It was the worst record entering a series of 3+ games that a team swept 30+ games into the season since the Nationals, who were 17-80, swept the Boston Beaneaters in September 1886. Ooh. So yeah, but still, it's that trailing in 31 consecutive games.
Yeah.
The relief when we finally held the lead.
That was rough.
Was that the one where Cal Quantrill like limited the Pirates to 1-0?
I don't remember,
It was something
honestly.
along those lines. I felt like it was that Pittsburgh series.
All I remember is pain.
Pittsburgh.
So I guess then what was the 32nd game of the season?
So I was saying, I think it was the Pirates.
I'm looking it up. Schedule and results. 32, Pittsburgh. Rockies win. I clicked the wrong thing. On Friday, May 3rd, the Rockies beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 3-2. Cal Quantrill was the starting pitcher.
There you go.
Rockies scored 3 runs on 12 hits.
And he went like 8 innings.
Which also says a lot about the Rockies hitting.
Mm-hmm.
7 2/3 innings for Quantrill, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, and no walks.
There you go. Goodness, what an awful record that was.
It's not great.
Ugh,
it's not great.
So many. Okay, here's one that Evan put in. I'll let you explain this one. Something about refs.
So I call this one the F the Ref Award, the best blow up at an umpire or referee in a sporting event, particularly baseball. And I think this one's a pretty easy give, and it is Jake Cave on the check swing, where his teammates had to physically restrain him.
He was about to beat a ref within an inch of his life. An umpire.
And we loved him for it.
That's when he became the man of the people. The man of the people award.
The man of the people. He may have played a little bit too much, and we got a little frustrated with him, but he was the man of the people.
Yeah.
And when he wanted to fight Lance Barksdale, the first base umpire, and Alan Trejo had to come and basically drag him back into the dugout, that's when we knew.
Yeah. And in the future, this one can just be called the Man of the People Award.
Oh, that's not bad.
The People's Champ.
Because there's nobody out there that actually likes umpires, right?
Mm-hmm. But unless you're Patrick Mahomes, because those refs will do anything for you.
Boo. Boo.
Yeah. Some of these are hyper specific, and that's okay. Which brings me to another one, the Roast of the Year. This award can really only go to one man. And we won't go into the entire details of the altercation.
Because this is a family show.
Indeed. But we have to give it to Cal Quantrill for some specific choice words that he had about Reese McGuire's past concerning police
extracurricular activities
off the field in a parking lot, and concerning the cops. And hey, Cal Quantrill, the second half was terrible, but man, was that a burn. And
it was a burn so bad that Reese McGuire and several of his Red Sox teammates attempted to hunt down and beat up Quantrill after the game, and if I recall correctly, had to be stopped by former Rocky Trevor Story.
Mm-hmm. And also Reese McGuire was cut like within days
the day after.
The day after. So
it was a burn so bad it ended his career.
It ended his Boston Red Sox career. Like that was a burn so brutal. Cal Quantrill turned into the sun. It was such a bad burn. Man, that was funny though. It won a Pitching Ninja award too. So
it did.
We're following along with Pitching Ninja, the Roast of the Year. Yeesh, so funny. That was the best. Oh goodness. This next one, shortest lived comeback. This one's kind of an unfortunate award, but I guess the idea behind it is players that maybe came back from injury of some kind, didn't last very long, and it could have been like just somebody who comes back, they don't stick around for very long, and then they're gone again. So it could be a pitcher that comes back from injury, a Jason Shreve who shows up for one game and leaves, a third of an inning and leaves, that kind of thing.
And the nominees are Jason Shreve for pitching a third of an inning and then being immediately cut.
Chris Bryant for playing in a total of 30 games.
And Chris Bryant actually had multiple short-lived comebacks this season.
He played 2 weeks at a time. He plays 2 weeks, he's out for 2 months, plays 2 weeks, out for 2 months.
Herman Marquez, who returned from Tommy John surgery only to immediately need season-ending elbow surgery.
Did he get surgery?
Or
he didn't get surgery.
I don't remember if he got surgery. It was a stress fracture, actually.
Yeah.
In his elbow.
Yeah. So it wasn't surgery.
It was unrelated to his Tommy John, but it was real unfortunate.
Yeah. So no surgery. It was just that strain fracture thing that they're like, we'll just hold off and he can rehab the rest of the season.
And then Lucas Gilbreth, who also returned from Tommy John surgery and just really struggled because he just kept dealing with shoulder inflammation while trying to make his comeback and only made 3 appearances.
Yeah. Ooh, it's a rough one. I'd say Herman Marquez.
I would also say Herman, because we watched him get ready to come back. And he was so excited. He was so positive on his way to his comeback, talking about how great he felt and how excited he was. Oh, they gave me a brand new elbow. I'm so ready to pitch again. He made 1 appearance, and he shone brilliantly as he set the Rockies' all-time franchise strikeout record, and then did not pitch again the entire rest of the season. He was the final starting pitcher for the first half before the All-Star break, pitched 4 innings, and then was done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good for him. Not the best award, but hey, I just like to be invited.
Poor Herman. We love you, Herman. We do.
Here's one. Best Rocky in 2024 who was a former Rocky. Jerks and Profar.
I mean, he wins it. Jurickson Profar took home MVP votes. He was an all-star. He had an incredible season with the San Diego Padres, and I hate him so very much for it. Congratulations, Jurickson.
Also, shout-outs to Carlos Estevez, Jeff Hoffman. Jeff Hoffman, who was an all-star this year. Good for him.
Carlos Estevez was an all-star last year, I believe.
Yeah, but he had a good year.
And had a really good year this year as well.
Garrett Hampson went to the playoffs again.
And was 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs.
Good for him. Yeah, there's many faces around the league. Trevor Story would have had, he was off to a good start, but unfortunately did not have a good year.
It's really just the injury where he made a Trevor Story style catch, a routine catch for him, and it knocked him out for most of the season. Which was a real bummer because we still love Trevor around these parts. And if you want to get ironic with it, the favorite best Rocky in 2024 who was a former Rocky, Sam Hilliard, a former Rocky, once again a Rocky.
He just
is funny, is I thought, but no, it's Jurickson Profar. Come on.
Yeah, hard to do that one. Let's go with the dumbest thing. This is one of my favorites. It's a thing we thought was stupid from the year. So, again, think Dick Monfort saying we could play 500 ball energy. Doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing either. It's just the dumbest thing.
Bringing back Bud Black for the 2025 season.
It's part of it. I was thinking of one. Now I forgot. Refusing to trade people.
That's an erstwhile one.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of other just dumbest things.
Dick Monfort saying that it's not worth bringing in outside opinions because we either tried it before and it didn't work, or you know that it's not going to work, so it's not worth trying.
Yeah, that's a good one. That might be that might be it.
How about losing on both Todd Helton Day and in Charlie Blackmon's last ever game as a Rocky?
That's kind of fitting, though.
It's pretty dumb, though.
I'm trying to think of anything else. There's a lot of bad, nothing I'd call the dumbest thing, because I always think of foot and mouth, the silly, dumb things. But a lot of it's just bad and annoying.
How about losing a series to the Chicago White Sox?
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Who would finish the season with the modern era worst record of all time.
Mm-hmm. Rockies TV and their stupid commercials. I swear, Evan, I just had the streaming service, so through MLB TV. Please, can they put some more normal commercials on there? I cannot take any more of the stupid MLB TV commercials of your moment of Zen TV, or the ASMR sounds.
I like the moments of Zen. It's about the only thing I liked. Everything else was pretty brutal.
It's awful. I don't need to see so-and-so's random home run.
Yeah, again and again. And then for a little bit, it was Elias Diaz's all-star home run from last year. And the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, cool, Elias Diaz. And then I saw it 97 more times.
Yeah. So, just the TV situation in general, because, yeah, the whole thing was just dumb.
And it took them way too long to get it figured out.
Mm-hmm. I almost kind of want to give it to that. The TV situation, because then there's also the revenue, and so that's having a problem with the team.
I can see it.
The TV stuff is the dumbest thing.
I can see it.
That's kind of what I'm inclined towards.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Now streaming on Mumford Plus. That episode actually had a lot of views. Yeah, there you go. I should have had a boo one. This boo. Oh wait,
Oh,
I have
brother, this guy
one.
stinks.
I was saying boo words.
There you go. Yeah, there's that unfortunate award. Dumbest thing, Rockies TV. That was pretty stupid.
It ended up being a fine product, but everything
dumb.
surrounding it was intensely stupid.
Yeah. Like the pre and post games, like why don't they use their center field studio hardly anymore?
They don't use it at all.
At all. They were on the field or they'd be up in the broadcast booth.
It was really weird.
And like you go Coors Field and you walk by and like there's nothing in there. They'd like be up there maybe doing like a planning production meeting. But that's it. Weird. Yeah. Oh, the TV stuff. That was the dumbest thing. Ugh.
You have me though looking back at some of our old titles for the year, and I'm pretty happy with some of these ones. Because I've got some really pretty stupid ones, but I enjoy picking out the titles or figuring out the titles. Like, and some of these I don't even remember the context behind. There's one that is titled "Like Being Attacked by a Giant Ape." I don't know. I do not remember the context for this. You know what it might have been is when the Godzilla versus Kong or whatever came out.
Oh yeah, it was the new Empire came out,
and we were talking about.
I started the show talking about it,
swinging around the baby Kong by his ankles.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that was best moment. That was so funny. And that a good segue here. Best podcast gag or bit. This could include episode titles.
McDonald's, I believe, was a this year invention.
Was it? It probably was.
It's a stupid one.
Robo Dick Monfort and
with Robo Dick Monfort. I don't think Mark Wahlberg can win because that is a long-standing bit.
Yeah, no, and he hardly shows up. The newest one is Weekly Check-In with Chris Bryant.
My back hurts.
My back hurts. Becoming George Lucas.
Was that a this year thing? What was
but it's pretty prominent.
What was the Jar Jar Binks one that we came up with? It was like Darth Binks or something.
I don't know. But no, I think George Lucas definitely popped up a lot this year.
It was a very well. You see, it's like poetry. They rhyme. Yes, I think we've got to give it to that one.
I think it's that Becoming George Lucas because it would be us quoting or making fun of like the front office.
Usually someone in the front, either Dick Monfort, Bill Schmidt, sometimes Bud Black, but mostly somebody higher up. And then it would eventually lapse into just a bad George Lucas impression.
Yeah. Did the soundboard debut this year?
It did.
That would also be one, but it was mostly just that
happens. That's baseball.
That's about it. But yeah, I think the turning into George Lucas.
Yeah. I think in any business, you have to have people you can trust, and I trust both of them. With Schmidt, it's his third year. I think he has a good handle on it, and I think he has a lot of talent to work with coming up. Take the combination of smart baseball people who work hard, who are trustworthy, loyal, and all want to win in Colorado, and that's a damn good combination.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Every scene is so dense.
Yeah, I think that's the bit of the year is just we turned into George Lucas a lot.
Yep.
No, the old George Lucas impression. I would say soundboard is a close second because that was the only other new bit that really stood out.
I do like the soundboard.
I did like that day of talking about Mick Donforts. Yeah. And if we ever think of one or didn't think of one, like let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
We
What
appreciate
was
those
your
that tune in.
favorite stupid bit of this dumb show?
Yes. Moving on here. Here's some good ones. Best moment of the year. Todd Hilton Hall of Fame.
Todd Helton Hall of Fame.
All right. I think that one wins, but any other ones that we can mention? Ryan McMahon walk-off grand slam on opening day at Coors Field.
Ryan McMahon being inducted, being an all-star, finally.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of many others.
There were not a lot of great moments this year.
Goodbye, Chuck.
Charlie Blackmon getting a base hit in his final game.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, better than that, honestly. Charlie Blackmon running onto the field by himself and taking his spot in center field for the first time since 2018.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Chills.
And same one of like Senzatella's back on the mound or Marquez is back on the mound. Those are good moments, but yeah, it's hard to deny.
You cannot top Hall of Fame.
Can't deny Todd Helton going into the Hall of Fame. I'm not joking around.
Hey,
Joe Biden, what are you doing here?
Your first baseman's in the Hall of Fame, huh? What's that like?
Todd Helton Hall of Fame.
I really wish they had brought Alan Roach in to do the PA announcements for that game.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been very cool.
Yeah, it would have been good. I'm trying to think. There's a couple of these we don't necessarily need to do. Any others that you can think of, Evan, that we haven't touched on?
And we could
that
do
we'd
worst.
like to do.
We could do worst moment.
All of it.
The 2024 Colorado Rockies season was the worst moment of the 2024 Colorado Rockies season.
Honestly, I think it would go back to what you mentioned earlier when we're going through like the most unfortunate. It's that first game of the season because we were hopeful, a little bit hopeful coming out of spring training. Like Kyle Freeland's back.
Have our hopes shattered
Immediately.
seconds into the 2024 season. Another really bad moment was after that when Ryan Feltner almost had the complete game shutout, where after that meltdown, they had like a players only meeting and they skipped some of the post game stuff. And we were like, oh, this ain't good.
Yeah. And then it turns out that did not help one bit.
Turned out to be nothing, but that was not a great moment.
Yeah. I think it's between those two. I think sound pretty good because there's.
I would say opening day.
I would too, because it just shattered someone who was like Kyle Freeland's back, baby.
You raised our hopes
fourth
and
inning,
dashed them quite excellently, sir.
And then third inning, oh no, we've set a opening day MLB record. Yeah,
it was bad. And then after opening day, we continued to make our way towards setting records, and they weren't good ones.
Yeah, opening day fiasco. That's a good one. Oh, here's your Chris Bryant stolen Lamborghini award. We don't know what this is.
But we have decided that the Chris Bryant stolen Lamborghini award goes to Chris Bryant, who was barely on the field this year. When he was on the field, he was terrible and just
like a injured sea turtle.
It was comical sometimes when he got hurt, where he ran into the wall at Toronto and got hurt. He got tangled up in the netting in Los Angeles and got hurt. So yeah.
Comes back, takes a few swings. Ow, my back hurts.
So congratulations to Chris Bryant for winning the Chris Bryant Stolen Lamborghini Award.
He's getting paid $27 million next year. Gosh, I wish him all the luck, but ugh.
I don't hate him as a person, but
I don't even know who he is as a person.
That's true. We really don't, because he's never around.
I know his name's Chris. He's handsome.
Has
And
beautiful eyes.
he has a family.
Family. That's a joke nobody's going to get.
And apparently he's able to hire somebody to drive his Lamborghini to Las Vegas. And it never arrived.
Yeah, I said something to the effect of the Rockies overpaid for a used Lamborghini that broke down, and now they can't afford rent.
Ugh. Yeah, we had to give Chris Bryant some sort of award.
I feel a little bad, but not that bad.
I'm sure he can wipe his tears away with his money.
With a fat stack of cash.
It's a little easier when he's making that much money.
$27 million. I would take $27 to do what he does.
Mm-hmm.
To be hurt all the time. My back already hurts all the time.
My back hurts for free.
Where's my money?
But I think that's a good place to stop it. Unless you can think of any other awards. Anything that you've thought of through this episode?
The Rocky Mountain Rooftop Award for Best Podcast goes to Affected by Altitude on Rocky Mountain Rooftop.
Yay. Somehow we still lose.
Goes to Rockies Now.
Yeah. Oh, one I just thought of real quick. Best podcast host. Or not host. Me. I meant to say guest.
Well, I say it's me. That's the end of the show because we both just can't get along anymore after that.
I meant to say best podcast guest. So we've had a couple of guests through the years. Through the year.
We had a lot of really cool guests this year. Stephen Rice, always a blast, friend of the show. No longer going to be working with the Fresno Grizzlies, and we wish him the best of luck. We had Patrick Lyons on the show multiple times.
Paul Holden.
One of my personal favorites, just because it was me, was where I talked to the mascot coordinator, Aaron Kroom of the Spokane Indians. That was a whole lot of fun. And we had some of our first player interviews this year as well. Let's see, who else do we have?
Aiden Longwell. We had Drew Romo, Ryan Rollison, Jared Thomas, Kyle Karros, MVP Gold Glover Kyle Karros.
Also Nolan Clifford. That was a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go with Kyle Karros.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great, I don't mean to toot our own horn, but that was a really, I think, good interview. He was excellent, and it was a lot of fun, and so grateful to, so grateful to everybody who made the conscious decision to come on the show this year.
Yeah. Drew Romo was a favorite of mine. I'd love that.
Oh, he was great.
Talk to him.
He was delightful. Ryan Rawlson was also really good.
We'll just give it to them all.
Honestly, yes, though. Everyone had a lot of really interesting insight and a lot of really interesting things to say. They were all super friendly, and it was just really nice.
Mm-hmm.
All of our interviews were so nice.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed talking to Jared Thomas. That was a fun one. That
was a good one as well.
Talking to him about Tulo and time in college and stuff. That was fun. Yeah, good folks, and everybody but my brother.
That's not very nice. I like having Dustin on the show.
Does he count as a guest if he's the unpaid intern for every Rocky ever?
Not really.
Yeah.
But I guess it's does it really count if Patrick Lyons is a guest when we have him on fairly often?
Yes. So Mac was a guest.
Mac was a guest.
There we go. Was he? Was that this year?
Yes.
For our 100th episode spectacular?
Correct.
Wow. Fun times.
And this is the episode 140 or 141.
A what? A what?
Yeah, 141 is this episode that we are recording right now, and that is wild.
Wow. We'll hit 200 next year.
The fact that we have enough listeners to keep this little show of ours going, I'm very grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your friends to listen too, though.
Appreciate it, those that listen. Now bring in more people. We're so thankful for everyone, but you're not enough.
But I could be more thankful.
Yeah. No, we really do appreciate people tuning in and listening to our stupidity and following along with these dumb award shows and other things, and we'll keep cooking up other ideas of other things to do.
We may not be the best Rockies podcast, but we're certainly the dumbest.
Hey, guarantee no one has more fun than us.
I have a lot of fun.
We entertain ourselves quite well.
Like, I'm never joking when I say that recording these episodes is usually the highlight of my week, because something dumb is going to make me laugh.
Yeah, we're just going to come up with some dumb bit. But we appreciate you tuning in. It's fun award shows. And no, truly, you are all the MVP, along with Brent Doyle.
Yeah. I mean, Brent Doyle's the MVP, but you guys are also all the MVP.
You are the MVLs, the most valuable listeners. There we go.
Beautiful.
But that'll do it here for this edition of the 2024 Rooftop Awards here on this Affected by Altitude episode. We'll keep cooking some stuff. Holiday seasons are coming up. Christmas is around the corner and all those good wintertime festivities as well. Hanukkah,
we're dumping all the
all
ingredients into our big crock pot.
Mm-hmm. So we appreciate you tuning in. Hope everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving. Thanks for tuning in here on the Altitude Awards. That's what they used to be called, but now they're the Rooftop Awards. I'm Skyler. That's Evan. Until next time.
Wait. We forgot to do, where can all the folks find us at?
Oh, they know by now.
Do they? Do you know that you can find us on at Rocky Mountain Rooftop? That's at ROCKYMTN Rooftop on all social media platforms, including Blue Sky, YouTube, Twitter, and others such as Instagram, or the fact that you can listen to Affected by Altitude and other Rocky Mountain Rooftop podcasts on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, including Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, and iHeartRadio.
They also know that they can find me at sideline_crowd on Twitter and stimmons13 at bsky.social on Blue Sky, and they can find you at evanlang27.bsky.social.
But did they know that they could find each of our writings on purplerow.com as we continue our Ranking the Rockies series and write our respective rock piles on our respective days of the week?
It's true. Yeah, they all know this stuff.
They all know this stuff.
140 some odd episodes. Not much has changed. Anyways, award for longest outro goes to this. Until next time, farewell.
I don't even think this is the longest outro we've had so far this year.
No, because Patrick Lyons isn't here.
Zing. We love you, Patrick.
This has been Affected by Altitude, a Colorado Rockies podcast with Rocky Mountain Rooftop, a proud affiliate of the Fans First Sports Network. Catch new episodes every Monday on wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Be sure to follow us on YouTube as well for video versions of the show.